Broadcom's product eEM, or Embedded Entitlements Manager, is an authentication and policy management tool which allows applications to share common access policy management, authentication, and authorization services. Integrating AAI into eEM means two things. First, part or all of the user's management functions can be delegated to eEM, where they can be handled centrally, along with all the organization's other applications. Second, eEM provides the functional security layer currently missing in AAI. Administrators can grant or deny granular control over individual objects like users, job streams, and business areas. A user might be able to edit a job stream but not delete it, for example. This video focuses on enabling AAI in eEM. We'll focus on designing policies in another module. We use a script included in the install package to load the AAI application in eEM. Next, we enable eEM in AAI. We'll create a domain alongside the default JAWS domain, which is created at installation. This is the procedure. We start with the AAI and eEM instances. We locate the JAWSCreate.xml scripts in the AAI root directory under Scripts eEM. We copy the script over to the eEM server under the eEM root directory in bin. Then we load the application in eEM using the safex commands with three options: an eEM admin account, its associated password, and the scripts. This creates two dynamic policies in eEM for sets of privileges that will be attributed to the two user groups, admin and non-admin, which is consistent with what we have in AAI. Back in AAI, we create a new domain for eEM. This domain will sit alongside the default JAWS domain, which exists as soon as you install the products. This is AAI's side of the integration. We use the admin or non-admin dynamic policy loaded in eEM when we registered the application with safex. In order to create a new user group, we simply clone one of these policies and create the new group. This automatically ties the admin group to the admin user privileges defined in the default policy. We can add an existing eEM user to the user group. Any access policy associated with this group will apply de facto to the user. Note that the group is not necessary. The same process can be used with individual users as well. Finally, we check the results in AAI. We should be able to log into AAI using the eEM domain and eEM user we added to the user group. Setting the eEM integration is a fairly long process, and we're going to cover everything in detail, which requires two videos. In the first video, we covered points 1 and 2, script and load, and the eEM domain in AAI. Points 3, 4, and 5 focus on user group managements and will be covered in the next module. We copy the script from the AAI host to the eEM host. We load the application using the safex command from the bin directory of the root embedded entitlements manager directory. It requires an eEM admin ID and password using options -U and -P. Finally, we use -F for the scripts. Loading the JAWSCreate.xml file with the safex command means creating the physical assets tied to the API so that the two systems can communicate. This is what happens during the process. First, we load two resources, JAWS administrators and JAWS users. These resources are mapped to the two native AAI user roles, admin and regular user, that we're all familiar with. Admins have access to the admin user privileges in the web UI, or admin tab assets if you're still using the thick clients. Users do not. You should not alter these resources in AAI in any way or the integration will malfunction. It also loads two dynamic user group policies, admin and non-admin, which leverage the aforementioned resources. Again, do not change these. If you want to create an admin group that has access to admin privileges, use save as to clone the policy. The script also loads 12 resource classes that define granular access to AAI topics, like job streams, users, and schedulers. By granular access, we mean the individual actions that you can perform against these topics: view, create, add, delete, and so forth. These resources should not be modified. It also loads policy folders, which contain template access policies, which use the resource classes we mentioned. You can leverage each of these 13 policies to set custom access rights to each topic, job streams, schedulers, and so on. You should never use these templates directly. Instead, use the save function to clone the policy you're looking to design. That way, policy templates can be reused every time you need a new policy. Finally, it loads a sample user called John. On the eEM side, we've created an eEM directory where we've copied the JAWSCreate.xml scripts. We execute the safex command. The application containing the policy set was loaded. Let's look at eEM. We log into eEM with the same admin credentials. AAI is listed in the list of applications, and so we select it. We'll be able to review the access policies. We can select any of these policies, say custom actions or job streams. Next, we have to create the eEM domain in AAI so that AAI users can be managed entirely through eEM. We use the user management function. We click plus to add a domain. We give it a name and select eEM in the domain type. We add the eEM server host name. If you're using a failover, then specify all hosts and use commas between each. You also have to specify the admin user ID and password we've used up to this point. We then have two fields, the AAI app name, and this is the name as it was set in the original XML scripts and loaded in eEM. The other field is the name of the Autosys application loaded in eEM if Autosys was added. No Autosys means you can leave this blank. We perform two configuration tests. The first is a simple connection test to establish that we can talk to the elements we just configured, in other words the eEM server, using the credentials and the AAI application. Let's now check that a user defined in eEM will have the ability to log into AAI. We've not yet applied the policy, which means no privileges. It only means the eEM user can talk to AAI. The eEM domain is properly configured. When users attempt to log into AAI, they will see eEM as a domain option. eEM is currently filed under hidden, which means you wouldn't see it. We can slide the domain up, either above or under the JAWS domain. Sliding it above JAWS means eEM becomes the default domain. If you then slide JAWS and hidden, eEM is the only domain you see.